Franny, you were discussing Eze playing in his best position as a number 10. Arsenal, the handbrake, something else you also brought up. So I've got some numbers here. This is the XG, but I have to stress we're only right at the start of this current season, so the data might be skewed. But in terms of Mikel Arteta's full seasons in charge, so ignoring when he came in and took over from Unai Emery, this is the lowest for XG for Mikel Arteta. Are we seeing him being too conservative in the big games, do you feel, Jermaine?
I mean, yes, I think it's hard to kind of defend him in those ones. I think when you go into Anfield, usually, throughout the season, say hello, anyway. When you go into Anfield, usually, look, I think it's wise to be defensive. They're tough games, but I just think in that game in particular, people are looking at it and knowing that Liverpool are nowhere near their best, as we're seeing, you know, as the games are panning out. They got beat by Palace. They've been winning games in the last minute of fixtures, and it felt like a moment where Arsenal could really go and lay down a marker early on in the season. Then you go to the Emirates against Manchester City, another really wounded animal, you would say, that are just building themselves back up. And again, he goes heavily defensive, and I think that's more the reason why he's getting the stick from the fans. It's not because he's always going defensive. If it was 3 seasons ago, fair enough, play more defensively because those teams were strong then. But now, you've made your signings, you've had your couple of seasons, you got to the semi-final of the Champions League. Now's the time to go and show people what you're about, and you've got all the players to go and do it. So, you know, you can't really defend, you know, the comments about having the handbrake on, even though it's so early on in the season. He's got the players to go and take control of games.
He seemed to be quite touchy about it in all the press conferences after the game and throughout this week. And Franny and I were covering the game against City, and we were sat there. The fans, remember, they were chasing it. They were chasing the game for most of the match. The fans are saying the goal's that way, the goal's that way.
Listen, they're a possession-based team, aren't they, Arsenal? You know, whatever you say about them, they like to keep the ball, they like to dominate the ball. I think the word for me is the one-dimensional. So it's pass the ball around the back, they work it, it's a little short passes, it's intricate. And then you're watching them last week and the fans are screaming, the goal's that way, the goal's that way. All of a sudden Eze gets on the ball on the halfway line, one long ball over the top, catches Man City by surprise, and all of a sudden Martinelli, who's just behind us, equalises, and you're thinking, you can't just pass and keep the ball in front of teams.
You've got to put the ball at risk, haven't you?
You've got to ask questions of the opposition. You have to keep finding ways to ask questions. Whether that be you get your head up and you spin one in behind, all of a sudden you get a throw in, you get the crowd off their feet. It was all very boring, and I don't think it's the handbrake on. I think it's the way Mikel Arteta likes to play. He's a possession-based coach, but you have to ask questions with the ball. And I think that's the big gripe from the Arsenal fans is they're sitting there, they're putting the bum on the seat and they're watching them pass without going anywhere. And then obviously at the end of the game last week, they spin one over the top and they managed to get an equaliser, and I think that's the frustration.
Well, it was Eze with the assist last weekend against Manchester City. He starts today, Odegaard's on the bench. He's been missing for a few games due to injury. What does that tell you? What does that selection tell you about Mikel Arteta's thinking today, Jermaine?
What, in regards to Trossard on the bench?
No.
I mean,
Eze starting.
Look,
I think Odegaard, because he's coming out from injury, but the fact that Eze is playing in his favourite position, what does that tell you?
It's what he's bought him for. It's as simple as that. It's like Franny was just saying, you know, essentially, you buy, you know, one of the best talents in English football, and then to start playing him out of position just didn't make much sense to me. I think initially maybe just to kind of build him into the games and the way you want to play, granted, but he's shown in 45 minutes last week what he's about, what he can do, why he's at the football club. So, you know, it just feels like the right thing to do, putting in that position. You know, Odegaard's obviously, you know, had the injury or whatever, and maybe he's due a bit of competition, you know, to step his levels up as well. This is a team, by the way, they're not, second's not good enough anymore. They've done that. You know, this team is now built to win, and Eze is going to be a key component to that.